25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that this world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head, and I'm feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from top of my lungs, what's going on? It's nice to meet you on the path. What is going on? I stopped at that point of the song because I didn't want to do the, and I said, hey, yeah, that kind of stuff. I didn't want to try to pull that off, without playing a guitar or something around it. But this is a pretty good song, right? Everybody knows this song. If you're, if you know it, then you know it. But it's pretty cool. And I try, oh my God, do I try? I try all the time in this institution. And I pray, oh my God, do I pray? I pray every single day for a revolution. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head, and I'm feeling a little peculiar. It's cool, right? Four non-blondes. Well, I guess I make five. So what's in this song? Oop, I was reading it from my phone and I just messed it up. 25 years, my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. Hope for a destination. Do you think she means, it can be read a couple different ways, right? I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. So what does that mean? It's brotherhood of man. So a lot of people that are, at least on the path see that we're all brothers and sisters. We're all the same thing, riding on this spaceship Earth, and we're all in this thing together. And it's kind of weird that we're so much at war with each other. That's been such a common theme throughout history. It's like what I remember from my history books in school was like there was this war, and then there was that war, and then there was this war, and then there was that war. That's all it was. What's it all about, So I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out, what's in my head. And I'm feeling a little peculiar. We probably all get that way sometimes. I'm not really big on the crying thing myself. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but sometimes I'll say like we all, because, do I want to say just like I? Sometimes I, and then just tell you all about how sometimes I feel a little peculiar too. So I can just say, we, right? It makes it a little softer on myself. So what do I feel peculiar about? Well, it's like part of being a trainer, part of hosting this podcast, singing at the beginning of it. I don't fancy myself a great singer or anything. I'm not trying to show off. It's kind of almost the opposite of that. I wasn't trying to like make a joke of my singing, but um, I don't expect people to be blown away by my technical singing skills. That's shit. But I like a lot of singers that aren't really good singers. Like, are they feeling? Can you feel it? That's what it's about. And there's a lot of like really great singers that like I don't really care to listen to. So sometimes like for the feeling peculiar, maybe like do you ever feel that way in your relationships? They're kind of weird, aren't they? Like these male female relationships, and when we're what is it like that we're attracted to about someone, and why does that fade, or why does it change into something else? Was it because we were like delusional in the first place? We are just wrong. Like, oh, somebody's like, oh, it seems so cool, and then oh, that's just this mask they wear, and I guess we all wear these masks, right? And then like once the new wears off, once you start to see a little bit more what they're all about, like sometimes it's even better. Like, oh man, this woman really is awesome. And then sometimes it's like, oh, this isn't going to work. I thought she was this way, but she's not. And it can be the opposite too. And what can kind of make somebody feel a little peculiar. Uh, well, let's finish this song out, and then I'll get back to the. And so I wake in the morning, and I step outside, and I take a deep breath, and I get real high, and I scream from the top of my lungs, "What's going on?" It speaks for itself. It doesn't need a lot of translation, does it? So Linda Perry is the writer of that song from Four Non Blondes. So I've talked about it before, and I'm on this dating app called Bumble, and it's strange who, some like I'll kind of like match up with somebody. If you like match up with somebody, then the woman has to, like, you swipe right or left. You swipe right, she swipes. Then it's up to the woman to send the first message, and she only has 24 hours to do it. And then the guy has 24 hours to respond to that. So it's like you kind of have to check this thing every day if you don't want to miss out. And so I probably do check in on it. It's probably every day, but I don't do a whole lot of swiping. I'll do like, it's almost like, sometimes I'll see like you can tell, like I don't pay for it, but so when you don't pay for your subscription, you can tell that somebody swiped for you at the top of the screen, but it shows their profile blurred out. But you can kind of make out who it might be. You might just like, okay, she has the blue shirt and her face on this side of the screen, and like, okay, so then you can like do some swiping and then find the one with the blue shirt and then see what you think. So it's but it might take a long time to get to that. Sometimes like shows you quickly, but it's kind of interesting to see who's picking me. And then, I guess who I'm swiping for is probably kind of, like, sometimes they are mutual swipes, but there's some both ways that the person isn't getting the swipe that they hoped for, and maybe it comes later. But there's biographies, so you're judging somebody by the way they look, and I think you can tell a lot about how people look. What kind of pictures are they taking? This is how they want to present themselves. This is the me that I want you to see. And I don't drink or smoke. That's in my bio. I don't state that. It's just like a check mark thing. And I also put that I'm a vegan, and that is written in there. But I tried to make a big deal out of it. But it's it's a thing. And I have dated women that are not vegan, but I kind of like wrestle with myself a little bit about whether that should be a big deal or not, because it's been a major part of my life for 25 years. Been vegan or vegetarian for 25 years. Most of that time vegan now. And it's kind of strange. Like sometimes we'll both swipe, and then she'll send me a message, and I'll send one back, and then it's like you know one person will fade off, or I'll swipe and she'll swipe. She sends me a message, and then I don't end up returning it, and then so it like um, unmatches you unless you pay, and then it matches you back, which I don't pay for it. And then sometimes we match up, and the woman doesn't send the first message. What's kind of strange is I've seen several people that I know on there. So uh, I won't call them out, but on mine, it's just I'm just into women, and I'm like swiping, and there's one of my buddies on there. It's a dude. Like, what? Maybe he just clicked the wrong thing. Uh, I don't know. Whatever. I don't care if people are gay or not. It doesn't bother me any. If I found out he was, it wouldn't make any difference to me. But it's kind of weird to see. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird thing. Like you're swiping, and then so it's like, oh, she's pretty. Oh, she's pretty. Uh, he has a very thick beard, or maybe does not have a beard at all. I don't want to give it away who it is, but it's the guy with the beard. So what am I getting to here? I guess that's kind of where we can all feel a little peculiar, right? Like, what's going on? And when we like somebody and they don't like us back, like, how does that happen? Why does that happen? Or be with somebody for a year, 2 years, and then end up breaking up. It's like, what? Like, what happened? Like besides, like somebody like cheated or was like abusive in some way, then okay. But like, what? You just kind of like people kind of like grow apart and they're different, right? I can hear my neighbors arguing sometimes. They live in the house across the street, and I live in an apartment, and I can't hear them from my side. I'm on the opposite side of the building, but sometimes when I'm going out to get the mail or I'm going out to my car or something, like I'll hear them yelling, and they're from like Bangladesh or something. And man, they get to screaming. It's like, man, how could you? How could you? How can you like stay with that? Like, what happens that makes us put up with that? Do we think? I think sometimes maybe people don't think they have other options, or they make the other person believe that they don't have any options. Maybe the man is the one that makes the money, and the woman, is just taking care of the kids in the house. And so if she did want to move out, she doesn't have any money. No job, no money. And of course, people can get a job, right? But when you're in that situation, it seems that can be a pretty tough thing to make happen, a pretty tough change to make. And then so there they are, living this hostile lifestyle. Last time I had a relationship where we yelled at each other was with my son's mom. And, I can't say that it was her fault. It really was. But, for whatever it was, that mix of both of us, 'cause I yelled back. And this was, my son's 18. He'll be 19 in February. We broke up. And then a month later, she told me she was pregnant. So it's been like 19 plus years. It was like after that, like the whole yelling at each other thing, I was like, I'd rather be by myself than to have something like that. And I was by myself for a long time after that. In fact, it was like almost 10 years. And in that 10 years, I might like hang out with some girls, but if I saw like a red flag, it's like, nope. Now I was doing a lot of training. I was doing a lot of martial arts. I was working a lot. I was just doing my thing. And then if a girl popped up, maybe see what's up. But I don't think there was ever like a second date or anything during that time. And some of my buddies thought like, what are you doing? Maybe we have like a friend that's a woman, and like one of my buddies, he was like, man, she likes you. She's into you. What are you doing? She's good to go. What's your problem? I was like, nah. So I pretty much just kind of like lived like a monk, and I did a lot of, I guess you could say, internal work, a lot of qigong, meditation, lifting, martial art. And then after that 10 years, I ended up meeting someone really cool at a yoga class. And we were together for a couple years. We didn't really yell at each other. There might be some like disagreements, but there was no like name calling or no yelling. We didn't like yell at each other. It was just like, but I guess even though it seemed like a really good match, and obviously it was, to have 2 years of this pretty cool thing happening, I guess I kind of maybe even knew from the beginning that something was maybe not quite perfect. Nothing about her. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like, oh, here's this quality about her that I don't like. It was more like, man, we seem like we're almost perfect, but just something's not quite right. And then, so that ended up ending peacefully. And really, it hasn't even been that long. We broke up like, I guess it's been, I don't know, going on 5 years or so, something like that. and it hasn't been that long since we've communicated a little bit. There was, and uh, and then like other girlfriends that I've had, or even my daughter's mom, it's like almost everybody. I have like a, you can still communicate. And that can get kind of weird too, because this podcast was not going to be about this. I had some other stuff to talk about, and I'll get into that. But maybe this is kind of helpful to somebody. Maybe maybe it reminds you of something in your own life. I'm drinking you ever drink yerba mate? I really like it. I almost always drink coffee during the podcast, and I'm a big fan of coffee, but I've been drinking a lot more yerba mate lately. So I wake up at 4:30. I have to leave my apartment by 5:15 to get to work at least 15 minutes early. And so I'll make a cup of coffee while I'm at home, and then I take my yerba mate to go. And I'm having some yerba mate right now in this mug that I've had since I was a little kid. I'm pretty sure my mom got it for me. It has my name on it, Ryan. So here's what it says. It says, Ryan, brave warrior. Originally a very ancient Celtic name, the Celtic way of naming sons was to attach the prefix AB to the name. Thus the son of Ryan became Abrian, or shortened to Ryan. The famous Irish king Brian Boru, try to say that, the famous Irish king Brian Boru, Brian the Strong, defeated the Vikings in 1014 and drove them out of Ireland. Though used extensively as a surname, it was originally a prestigious given name. But I digress. What was I talking about? Okay, so these relationships. It has to do like with the song. That's right. Like the feeling peculiar and what's going on. And I just remembered a part of that song that wasn't. It was like, and I pray, oh my God, do I pray? I pray every single day for a revolution. Did I sing that part? I don't know. Anyways, it just popped into my mind. But these relationships we have, sometimes I guess maybe it's hard to stop cold turkey and just like break up. Okay, I'll just never talk to you ever again. Cool. Although I guess that's happened. But with me, but often there's something that lingers, like my last, like longer term girlfriend. She has contacted me about doing like some projects or something. She wants to do some like creative stuff, and we'll kind of talk about it a little bit, and then it'll fade off, and then it pops back up. And I was seeing someone, and then she was seeing someone, and it makes it makes you feel a little peculiar. So then there was this other woman I met at a yoga class. And I don't really date a lot, so if I'm like, it sounds like I'm naming a bunch, I don't really date a lot. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just don't. But we met under these I'll tell the story. I don't know that I really should, but I think I have before on air. I say a lot of stuff on these videos, which reminds me, the show is on YouTube. If most of the time people just listen, but the show is on the Fitness and Consciousness YouTube channel. I was went to a yoga workshop with a girlfriend of mine, one that I mentioned that I was with for a couple of years. And we go in, and there was this friend of hers there. She knew a lot of people there at this place. And I was like in front of them. They were like hanging out together. Their mats were next to each other, and I was in front of them. This Keener McGregor workshop. And actually, it wasn't Keener McGregor. Sorry. Anyways, sorry if I'm like all over the place today. This wasn't what I was planning on talking about. So we met at this Iyengar workshop. And it ends, and my girlfriend was talking to some people inside, and a friend that she introduced me to asked me if I wanted to go wait outside, and just met her there. Like, sure. So didn't think anything of it, go outside, and then we just look at each other, and we just start looking into each other's eyes and soul or whatever for a long time, and didn't say anything. I was like, holy shit, is she the one? Something to that effect. And I didn't say anything. I don't remember what kind of like conversation we might have had until my girlfriend came out. And she was like best friends with this girl. And so we just go on. And the time goes by. Neither one of us said anything. Nothing happened. I've never cheated on anybody, ever. And so fast forward a year or so, a couple of years, and I'm broken up with that girlfriend. And I get an email from this place where her friend teaches yoga. And so I take her, I send her a message. And I'm like, hey, I just won, or not won, I got this email, free yoga class, and I'm looking for something that's kind of like flowy. I don't want anything intense because my own workouts are really intense. So I just want to be, something that's kind of like flowy and calm. And I was like, do you have any suggestions for me? And she said, me, ? LOL. Or maybe there was an exclamation point or instead of a question mark, or both, or whatever. Like, okay, I was describing her way on purpose. I did it intentionally, but that is what I was looking for. And so I go to her class, and it was cool. She's a good teacher, and I leave, and then a little bit later, I get a message from her, and she's asking me how I liked it, and I said I really liked it a lot. And then we get to talking, and she's like, well, I'd like to talk to you about this stuff in person. I was like, okay, cool. And so we met the next day for dinner, and ended up going back to her apartment and hanging out, and we ended up finding out that we both felt the same way that day at that yoga workshop. the couple of years before, a few years before. Yeah, 4 years before. And neither one of us said anything until that night. And so it was like we started just agreed, okay, this is we're trying this out. And she's like, yes, definitely this monogamous thing. We're giving it this a try. We're doing this. Here we go. And I was in. I didn't need to think about that at all. I was like, man, this is just amazing. And it was like right after my girlfriend broke up with me on my birthday. A different girl, not her friend, but my ex before that broke up with me like 11:55 p.m. the night before my birthday. And when it happened, I wasn't like devastated or anything. I was just like, there was a bunch of things that like happened. Like neither one of us were like doing anything bad to each other or anything, but there was just like a lot of stuff. And so I wasn't even like bothered by it. I almost like kind of like laughed, I think. Not that I didn't like her, but it was almost like comical. And then it's like and then right after that, I get this email, like the same day. It was the same day I got this email for the free class. And I knew I was going to take this woman's class. It was really weird timing. Kismet or something like that. And so it was like this amazing thing for a little while. And then it just kind of like dropped off. And not quite sure why. But after that, I kind of ended up like getting back with my ex, the one that broke up with me on my birthday. We were and then has like this whole like odd string of events, and it's just like this relationship thing is very strange. I was talking with someone on Facebook, and long story short, it got into so talking about like teenage rebellion, like it's a new thing. And I was trying to like she's trying to like explain what she meant, and it had something to do with like before like the 1920s or something, like, you know, all the kids were like working on the farm. They're like child labor stuff, and there wasn't a lot of time for them to get into so much mischief or something to that effect, which I wasn't exactly following her point, because it was like this teenage rebellion thing. It seems like the oldest story that we have. But I was talking about, like Romeo and Juliet was written like in 1954. I Googled it before I mentioned it in the Facebook message. And it's like, isn't that teenage rebellion? And so I was trying to like understand. It's not like I'm trying to like argue and say like, oh, you're wrong. Look, there was this other rebel. It was more like, I'm trying to understand your point. Here's like what I'm thinking. How can I'm trying to like get my mind around, because when somebody says something I don't agree with, instead of just trying to make them be wrong, I try to be like, how can I understand what they mean? And that's what I try to do anyway. Because whether it's like fitness, martial arts, you're best keeping an open mind, because your mind probably can and will and should change from the time that you're like started out as a personal trainer when you're 20, like me, and now you're 40. Are you going to be doing the exact same thing you were at 20? You didn't learn anything. You didn't change your methods in 20 years. So I'm trying to keep this open mind and understand what she means. And I was talking about, she brought up like a marriage because she was talking about this like Pakistani movie that her son saw, her younger son. And it was like this teenager wanting to this Muslim teen wanting to date different girls and stuff. And like a lot of places over there. And like I was talking about some people that I knew from India. It's like a friend of mine, he met his wife at their wedding. It was an arranged marriage. He met her at the wedding. You know, some of their arranged marriages, they get to know them for a while first, but it's still like, you know, they know each other before the wedding. But my buddy met his wife at the wedding. And it's like this is what I'm telling her. And I was like, so I asked Michael, what if she didn't like you? And he said, well, that's the point. Why wouldn't she like me? Because from that point, for that philosophy, he has a good job. You know, he can take, so when they have kids, he's financially stable. He's, you know, this good guy. So on paper, man, this guy's really great. But it doesn't even like account for the personal attraction. It's a different way of thinking. And so my friend was suggesting that sometimes, you know, it takes the pressure off of finding your own and the difficulty. You just have your parents figure it out. And it's like, man, you know, isn't that part of being an individual, finding the woman that you really want to be with? And there's something about the effort that it takes. There's something about the anticipation, the not knowing, you know, even, you know, so if it's like if I meet somebody, I go out with them, you know, the first time, it's like you can't help but, like, you know, you meet and you wonder, you know, what's the future look like? What's it like to be at concerts with them? What's it like to be out in the woods with them? What's it like to be out at the restaurant? What's it like? What do you look like when you're walking down the street with her? You know, like, how is she going to describe you to her friends? Or, you know, is this going to be like a one date thing? 5 dates? It's going to last a month, a year, 5 years? It's like you can't, or forever. You almost can't help but wonder. But you got to kind of play it cool too. If you're like, if it's too easy, like, people don't want it. But like in the case that I was telling you about before, the girl I met at the yoga workshop, and we were both feeling the same way, really attracted to each other from the very beginning, but didn't say anything for 4 years. It's like that fell into place so easily. It took, like, you know, 4 years in the back of our minds, or somewhere in our minds. But like, once the timing was right, it was just this awesome thing. And what was like there's like these, I was talking about like quitting these relationships like cold turkey and like this contact after. Like, so after the girlfriend broke up with me 5 minutes before my birthday, and it happened really fast that I started seeing this other woman. It happened really fast. And I was out at the cemetery. I like to go out to the cemetery and see the deer, and it's real peaceful out there. And there's cool trees and some and woods. Woods are made out of trees. I know. Trees are made out of wood too. But I was out there and I get a message from the one that broke up with me. I'm already seeing this new girl. And so she's talking to me about something pretty personal. And I'm responding. And I tell her, I was like, just so you know, I started seeing, and I told her who it was. And she was like shocked because she said when she basically said she didn't think that we were going to stay broken up. She thought it was this temporary thing for us to figure something out, which she never said before. And when she was texting me, she was listening to the playlist that I made for us. And when we were together, it was like she always kept saying she thought I wanted to be with like this other kind of woman. Like she didn't like, I don't want to say. Like she didn't feel as feminine as these other women that she knew I had dated. I was like, I didn't see it that way. I was like, it wasn't the way I saw it, but that's the way she saw it, and it was, I guess, an insecurity of hers because she thought that I wanted something else. And in retrospect, well, I'm not even going to finish that thought. So, what's my point? Well, just that song and, the feeling peculiar. Because that's one of the things that makes me feel a little peculiar. It's like these relationship dynamics. And so it's like I'm not seeing anybody now, and I don't really have anyone in mind. The one that I was talking about where we were, met each other after 4 years and figuring out we were both very attracted to each other. It's been a while since we hung out, but we've talked about it. Like sometimes she'll just send me a message, kind of, I guess, out of the blue, and I'll just say hi. And I'll respond, hi, what's going on with you? And sometimes I'll send her the first message, and she'll usually respond pretty quickly. And then like the last time, and it's happened before, like I send her one, she responds really quickly, and says what she's up to a little bit, or say she's doing fine, ask me how I'm doing, and I say a little bit. And then there's no response after that. And we talk about hanging out. It's like, oh, I think we should get together, go to a concert or something sometime soon. She's like, oh, I agree. And then she'll like say, I'm free the weekend after this one. I'm like, okay. And then we don't haven't ended up following through with it. It's like maybe I don't end up getting a hold of her, which I think has been the case several times, or something. So then I think, well, what do I want out of that? She's a cool person, cool to hang out with. We have stuff in common, but it's like, if I'm being honest with myself, am I hoping like more will happen? And the last times we hung out, it was like nothing was happening. Like sometimes she gave hints that she wanted something more. And then like she said something like, I said something to her about it, and she's like, I never said I was consistent with you. So she knows she's kind of like hot and cold with me, and kind of like in and out. And maybe to be fair, I'm probably the same way with her. But it's like, what's different now than when we met for dinner the day after her class? Or what's different now than when we looked into each other's eyes for that first time? And the way she put it was, she really thought it was going to be a problem because she was really good friends with my girlfriend. But she never said anything about it. I never said anything about it. Nothing ever happened. But it was this really intense thing. It's like now it's just like this thing that happened or almost happened or stuff, But anyways, enough about that. How long have I been talking about that? So I have, I'm going to read some, I was going to talk about something else, but I think I'll do it later. Talk about it another time. This is from Kahlil Gibran's Sand and Foam. I just opened it randomly. You're saying to me, I do not understand you, is praise beyond my worth and an insult you do not deserve. How mean am I when life gives me gold and I give you silver, and yet I deem myself generous. Oh, that's interesting. So like when I was talking about these women, am I trying to make myself sound above the whole situation? Am I trying to make myself sound like a better catch than them? I don't think so, but maybe a little bit. But how mean am I when life gives me gold and I give you silver, and yet I deem myself generous? When you reach the heart of life, you will find yourself not higher than the felon and not lower than the prophet. Strange that you should pity the slow-footed and not the slow-minded, and the blind eye rather than the blind-hearted. It is wiser for the lame not to break his crutches upon the head of his enemy. This is just random stuff. I'm not saying it has anything to do with what I was talking about before. I was not planning on talking about relationship stuff, really. I was planning on talking about business stuff, but I think I'll maybe save that for another one. How blind is he who gives you out of his pocket that he may take out of your heart? Life is a procession. The slow of foot finds it too swift, and he steps out. And the swift of foot finds it too slow, and he too steps out. Man, Kahlil Gibran is great. I'm just turning the page here. Is there such a thing as sin? Some of us commit it backward, following our forefathers' footsteps. And some of us commit it forward by overruling our children. The really good is he who is one with all those who are deemed bad. The truly good is he who is one with all those who are deemed bad. We are all prisoners, but some of us are in cells with windows and some without. Strange that we defend our wrongs with more vigor than we do our rights. Whew. Interesting. Should we confess our sins to one another? We would all laugh at one another for our lack of originality. Should we all reveal our virtues, we would also laugh for the same cause. An individual is above man-made laws until he commits a crime against man-made conventions. After that, he is neither above anyone nor lower than anyone. Government is an agreement between you and myself. You and myself are often wrong. Crime is either another name of need or an aspect of a disease. Let's flip through this way. My house says to me, do not leave me, for here dwells your past. And the road says to me, come and follow me, for I am your future. And I say to both my house and the road, I have no past, nor have I a future. If I stay here, there is a going in my staying. And if I go, there is a staying in my going. Damn, that's good. Only love and death change all things. That's worth repeating. My house says to me, do not leave me, for here dwells your past. And the road says to me, come and follow me, for I am your future. And I say to both my house and my road, I have no past, nor have I a future. If I stay here, there is going in my staying. And if I go, there is a staying in my going. Only love and death change all things. How can I lose faith in the justice of life when the dreams of those who sleep upon feathers are not more beautiful than the dreams of those who sleep upon the earth? Strange, the desire for certain pleasures is a part of my pain. I like this, and I read this one before. Trees are poems that the earth writes upon the sky. We fell them down and turn them into paper that we may record our emptiness. Is there a greater fault than being conscious of the other person's faults? If the other person laughs at you, you can pity him. But if you laugh at him, you may never forgive yourself. If the other person injures you, you may forget the injury, but if you injure him, you will always remember. In truth, the other person is your most sensitive self given another body. How heedless you are when you would have men fly with your wings and you cannot even give them a feather. I could read that. I was saying, I read some of that at the last podcast, and I was going to read it all. I haven't read a word of it since. So what's going on? I've been doing this podcast almost usually by myself. I do it on Sunday nights. Today is Tuesday night, actually. I've had a crazy month. Well, last month was more the crazy month. This month is smoothed out quite a bit. I started a new job. I still have my gym, but I have a job working at making steel rule dies. This shop, it's a pretty cool place. I was there today, and my main thing that I do there is run these two laser machines, these laser cutters, and there's an old AM/FM radio, and at my spot, I'm gonna take my Bluetooth speaker in there tomorrow. But then there's this other part where they put the dies together, and I was in there doing some stuff today, and the guy had his music playing, nice JBL Bluetooth speaker, and playing like some more like 90s hard rock with some like 90s rock stuff with some old like Zeppelin stuff sometimes, and I'm helping like prepare these die boards, and it's like getting in the groove of the music, and I'm like looking around like this is really great. And my last job as I called it, was working at this place. It was hot. It's hotter inside than outside. These Indiana summers get pretty steamy. And you have to wear steel-toed shoes, even though I have some that are like supposed to be more metatomically correct or whatever. They're still not comfortable to stand on and have on for 8, 9 hours, 10 hours. And we couldn't listen to the radio, couldn't have earbuds in or anything. It's loud in there. And the new manager is like, just, he can be quite unpleasant. He was all right for the most part, but he had his job to do, and the way he went about it is not my style. Not something I wanted to put up with. And I ended up getting fired, and then I got hired at this new place the next morning. My buddy put in a word for me, and I liked it right off the bat. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. I don't have to wear steel-toed shoes. I wear my Sanooks. They're comfortable. You do have to wear pants because there's you can get cut there. There's like these dyes. They are really sharp, and um, but so I liked it before, but today I was like, I had the music playing, and it was just like in the groove. I was like, this is great. This is cool. Building these things, and then at my gym, this is like one of the things I was planning to start talking about at first. I got sidetracked talking about relationships, but with women. But this is something about like relationships with friends. My friend Chris Atkins is now training people out of my gym, and it's also Valery Fedorenko's gym. But so now it's my buddy Chris Atkins is training out of there. It's really cool. We had talked about getting a gym together like right before I got this one. So this is just several months ago. We were talking about it, and basically he was like saying it's not quite the right time for him. He has 4 kids, and he just wasn't ready to make a change. Like, nope, okay. And I was ready to do this, and so I got the place with this thing with Valery Fedorenko. Ended up working out like amazing. It's so cool to be partnered up with him, and then now it was the right time for Chris to come on. And he's a really good trainer, really good guy, and there's, what am I trying to say here? There's just something really cool about being able to like work with your friends like that, to be in your work environment, and um, like give him a spot to train people. Well, not get. I mean, it's a business thing. It works out good for me too. It's a mutual thing as far as that goes. But just to have it's literally right across the street from where we used to train. I met him training at another gym, and it's literally right across the street. So it was really easy for his clients to transition to the new place. He just started seeing people there this morning. Like he said, it went really well. It's just really cool how things are working out. And it's like sometimes we try to make these things work, whether it's a romantic relationship and it's like ending, and we don't want it to. Maybe we know we need to end it. Maybe we know the other person's going to end it, but it's a mutual thing, but it's ending, and we're kind of fighting for it and kind of fighting against it. Or you just kind of get like blindsided, and then you end up in a new relationship that just makes a lot more sense. Like I say, a lot of times life makes more sense in reverse. Like you look back, like, man, I wanted that job to work out. I wasn't trying to get fired, get a better job than the next morning. I got fired at 1:00 in the afternoon. I got hired by like 8:45 the next morning at a job that I like way, way better. But I wasn't trying to leave that job for this job. So it was like sometimes we just kind of like get kicked out of the nest. It's like, oh no, oh, I can fly. This is awesome. or somebody catches you that you didn't expect and takes you somewhere you had no idea where you were going, but you like it. So when I see there's a lot of lonely people. People can be in relationships and lonely. Um, I was talking about the girlfriend that broke up with me the 5 minutes before my birthday, and she's talking to me way after that, and she's saying like how alone she feels, and she's seeing this other guy, and so it wasn't like I was like, oh yeah, well maybe we can get back together. That didn't happen. I wasn't trying to do that. I was trying to hear her out because we could perhaps. We've talked about doing another podcast. We've talked about some different ideas. I'm always thinking. I got a lot of ideas in my mind, a lot of projects in the works. But it's like, man, if you're with somebody that makes you feel lonely, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's a good dude. Maybe it's worth it. No, I wish her the best. I don't know him. Never met him, but I hope it works out for them both. And if not, I wish them both something better for them. Because I'm, hoping better for myself too. Better for me. Is there anybody from your past that you wish would pop back up again? I dug out my yearbook from, I think it was my sophomore year. Yeah, high school in Shelbyville. And I was looking through it, and I think I looked at almost every page. And I get reminded of these friends, my old buddies, girls, and you wonder what all these people are doing now. I am in contact with some people that I've known since high school. And you put something on Facebook, like your Facebook story. And you can click and you see who saw it. And, maybe somebody from your past hits a like. It's just like old friends. Like there's something about that. Someone random hits like. That's cool. That feels good too. But when somebody from 20 years ago hits like, it's like, these like nostalgic feelings. Like, what is that? Where does that come from? Like, what is going on in your mind? Maybe, biologically, scientifically, chemically, that or what's going on more of the spiritual level or whatever, where somebody from 1990, you knew somebody in 1995 and hadn't talked since then, and they hit like on your picture or your quote, your story. It's just, even though You might not send a message. Maybe there's no comment. Maybe there's no nothing. Maybe there's nothing more than them pushing like and you seeing their name, that they hit the thumbs up or the heart, and it takes you back. And what do you do with that? We only get so much time here. We don't know when our time is up. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. And so if you're in a relationship that's, like my neighbors across the street, they scream at each other, just yelling. I don't know what they're saying, but it can't be good. It's in whatever language they speak in Bangladesh. Like, man, and they have kids and stuff. So do you stay together for the kids? Stay together because you don't have any other options? Or you don't think you have other options? Or do you just like it? If you're with someone that doesn't yell at you, you're not in these heated exchanges. Is it going to be exciting enough for you? It seems like some people like that fight. They not of I've been perplexed at some of the choices that people make, who they're with. And you don't really know somebody. You can judge somebody by their looks and like the story you tell yourself about them, but you're not the one that's with them every day, looking through the eyes of someone that thinks they're great. Pour some more yerba mate. So when you're looking, I would recommend you get that old yearbook out. And this yearbook I have, nobody signed it. I didn't take it. We got them. I think it's like one of those weird things we like got it like after the school year ended or something like that. So it was like I forget the exact circumstance, but it was like, normally you'd get it at some time when you can have and then you can have like all your friends signing it and stuff. And I forget the circumstances, but there's no signatures in this one. It may have been some act of rebellion of my own. Like it seems like I remember there was like a homecoming dance afterwards, or like, and then people were gonna like, it's like something, and people were gonna take the yearbooks. Like there was something I don't remember exactly. It was a long time ago. 1995 is this yearbook. But whatever it was, like whatever school thing it was, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to school. I couldn't stand school. But then I'm looking at these pictures. It's like, man, what are these people doing now? And I was had I kept looking people up on Facebook. And I think I might have sent, I don't know if I sent her a friend request or not. I don't remember. It was just like you see these people, and it's like, oh wow, that face, that name hasn't crossed my mind in a long time. And not everybody's alive from then. It's I had friends in high school that died when we were in high school. And so they didn't get into the next yearbook, right? And there was a place in this yearbook I was looking at, and it mentioned a couple of the people that had died, a couple of the kids that had died. It makes you just like wonder, like, what's it all about? Is there like some kind of divine plan, or it's like, are we here to like learn these lessons and kind of level up, and then like whatever that next life is, it's gonna be better, or are we here like it doesn't mean anything? We die and that's it. We're here, we live, we die, that's it. We hope that's not the case, right? Or we can like live and learn these lessons, and then that next life we can get to that without dying, right? Maybe somebody's stuck in a job they hate, they don't think they have any other option, they get fired, and then they find a job that they really love the next day. Or maybe they're in this terrible relationship and they don't think they can do any better. And then this amazing woman comes along that saves them. It reminds me of this Gary Clark, "You Saved Me" lyrics. I'm looking this up on
Here are the lyrics for the song "You Saved Me."
This just popped into my head. It's taken me a little while to bounce back. I've been falling from something good. People say I took a little too long. Oh, I did. Yeah. Oh, baby. Oh. It's weird to like read those parts here. Man, was that not what I was talking about before? So I like this song. I'm a big fan of Gary Clark Jr. It's taken me a little while to bounce back. I've been falling from something good. People say I took a little too long. Oh, I did. Yeah. Oh, baby. Oh. Till you came along and you saved me. You saved me with that good love. You came along and you saved me. You saved me. Ooh, with that good love. It's taken me a little while to come back. I've been working on something good. Oh, so every now and then I tend to fall back. Oh, Lord, I've been misunderstood. Sorry, I just lost my place here. Till you came along and you saved me. You saved me with that good love. Oh, yeah. You came along and you saved me. You saved me. Ooh, with that good love. Oh, yeah. You've got it all, baby. I'm so addicted. I can't help but want it more and more and more. You've got it all, baby. I'm so addicted. I can't help but want it more and more and more. You saved me. Oh, till you came along and you saved me. You saved me with that good love. And it repeats that a few times. Taking me a little while to bounce back. Right? It's taking me a little while to come back. I've been falling from something good. I've been working on something good. Maybe that's it. Maybe if this is the only life we get, there is no afterlife. We can think of our next life as one that can happen without us dying. This like old, and shed this old skin. If you smoke and you want to quit smoking, if you drink, you want to quit drinking, if you're doing drugs, you want to quit. Why? Why would you want to quit doing drugs? Aren't you having fun? People want to quit because what's that life they could have without? I quit smoking weed and drinking. It's been over 7 years now. And what happened with me, I've told on other podcasts, is I met someone, I think she was like an angel or a bodhisattva or something like that. And long story short, it's like she just like turned this dial in me. And I saw her regularly for a few months. And once I quit, that day was the last day I saw her. And there was like something about her, something about like what I learned from her that was like, you have to become a magnet for what you want to attract. That was the message I got from her. She didn't say that. She didn't say those words. That was just the message. So if you have this ideal mate in mind, somebody like that want to be with you the way you are right now? Maybe. But I think a lot of people have it more right when they're with somebody. They're already good enough, right? But they still want to get better, and that other person helps them to get better, become more their ideal self, point out things that would be good if they changed without it's tricky without I don't know how to like, it's like this angel or bodhisattva that I knew. She didn't tell me I should quit drinking and smoking weed. And but it was like, I guess, kind of like because of her that I went ahead and stopped. And it wasn't like I don't know. It was a very strange experience. It was a very, very strange experience. And then so like to kind of like bring it back a little bit, I'm on this dating site and I'm just on the one. So many of the pictures are these women, and they have some kind of alcoholic drink in their hand. So imagine there's a woman, and it looks like she's at a pretty nice place. She's wearing a nice dress, hair's done nice, and she's drinking wine, a wine glass. Looks like she's in a fancy place. She's drinking wine. Swipe. Whichever way. Maybe you like that, maybe not. Next one. She's wearing cowboy boots or cowgirl boots, whatever, cut off jean shorts, tank top with a big cup of beer. She's at some big outdoor concert. Big cup of beer. Swipe, whichever way. Next one. Woman, she's at a restaurant with this huge, what are they called? Margarita. You wouldn't believe how many of these pictures are the drinking out of the big margarita picture. Whichever. Swipe either way. Maybe that's what you're looking for. Okay. Maybe they're at a bar. Maybe this woman's at a bar. Turned on there. She's taking a shot. These are all real life examples I've seen over and over and over and over and over again. I'm not saying there's something wrong with drinking. Certainly it can be a problem for some people. But I'm not trying to say there's some moral problem with drinking. What I'm saying is, if you don't drink, and you're looking for someone, and it's not like, oh, I'm looking for somebody to marry. Swipe. Would I want to marry this person? It's like, do I want to hang out with this person? Do I want to meet this person? What's this going to be like? Because if somebody's idea of fun is going out and taking shots at the bar, I'm not going to be having fun there. If I go to a bar and there's like some like cool band playing, I'm having fun probably. And then if I'm with somebody, they're drinking a beer, so what? But it's like if drinking is the event, like it so often is, then I'm no fun. I'm not going to be any fun at something like that. And I wonder how many people do that. Like when you can hit the thing, like you drink often, never, socially. So many of them are checked socially. They drink socially. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going out and drinking with your friends. But how many of those people don't really want to? They're just trying to connect. They just want to be with somebody. They just want, whether it's maybe it's a guy and he just wants to hang out with a woman, or maybe he just wants to hang out with his buddy or some friends. He just wants to be included in the fun. And it just happens to be that they don't know what else to do except for go out and drink. And then whatever happens along with the drinking. So I wonder, imagine it's Friday, 1:00 in the morning, or like Saturday, 1:00 in the morning. No, it's Friday, late night. 1:00, the bar's packed. How many people really want to be there? How many people would rather be connecting, in a different environment. But if you invite those friends over for a coffee on Saturday night, Friday night, like, what? Coffee? It's Saturday night. We're supposed to go out and get drunk. That's what all these other people are doing. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to read another quick thing from Kahlil Gibran. Random. This is a random thing. Genius is but a robin's song at the beginning of a slow spring. Even the most winged spirit cannot escape physical necessity. Was I just talking about that? Even the most winged spirit cannot escape physical necessity. A madman is not less a musician than you or myself. Only the instrument on which he plays is a little out of tune. The song that lies silent in the heart of a mother sings upon the lips of her child. No longing remains unfulfilled. No longing remains unfulfilled. We can only hope. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.